Welcome to the Leadership Kit.
We got Greg Yates. What's up, everybody? Thank you for coming back this Monday. We have a super exciting special guest to share with you. This is a person that we've been getting to know over the past month or so, and we've really grown to love, and we chat with him a few times, and we've just had awesome conversations, and we speak the same language. We're all about a lot of the same values, and we just really have learned to value this incredible man. So welcome with us, Mr. Greg Yates.
Yo, I better not screw this up, huh?
So
we set the expectation real.
Yeah, I'm sitting here saying, I thought I was the guest.
Yeah, you are. That's why we have to treat you well.
We gave up an interview with the Dalai Lama to have Greg Yates.
Just wait till we're on his channel, and then he'll say something nice about us.
That's right.
Yeah. Would you mind scripting that for me in advance?
I'll send you an intro, my official intro. It's in my writing.
It's kind of fun. I just watched a video from Sam Chand who talked about like lending credibility.
Right, yeah.
And I think it's important, if you got people who look up to you and you look up to someone else, it's important for you to introduce them to that person and share them with them.
Right, yeah.
We all need each other, and you need more than one voice speaking into your life.
Oh, man.
Right.
I mean, not to hijack the talk here, but I mean, just like we were talking last night, it's like the more you broadcast your signal and the more you get clear, get specific about what you believe, the more people come out and are attracted to that message because it's their message. They just think they're alone.
So that is
fascinating.
I just said this to Daniel yesterday, and this is the first thing I want to ask you about, is when you talk about your tribal signal, that's something you've said so many times.
Yeah,
I want you to kind of explain that just a little bit.
I actually have taught a class before about how to speak your tribal signal, because in leadership, my experience is I've got my 4 processes that I teach for the simple leadership, but my experience is that when people get schema about the language that they're using, and the people that you're working with, whether it's outside or inside, understand, a volume of information with one word,
right,
or one phrase, even if it's a dumb phrase,
right, yeah,
people get it, and you're immediately on the same page, and that's the tribal signal for me. People know, if they're around me very long, they know what I believe, they know what I think. I want the people in my tribe, so to speak, to understand their role,
right? Because
we're in this together. They don't need to do what I do. Right. I don't need to do what they do, but we do need to understand how we fit.
Right.
Oh, it's a huge, beautiful, beautiful conversation.
Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. There's a catchphrase, if you will, that I like to say that everyone who knows me knows that it's me when they hear this phrase.
Oh, cool.
And I think this is what you would call a tribal signal. I say we do what's best, not what's easiest. And the moment I say that, people know what I mean. And they know that I'm not taking shortcuts, I want to do things the right way. Wow. And it resonates with them, or it doesn't. And if it does, anytime I'm around someone new and they hear me say that, they perk up and they're like, that's awesome. I love that. Can I use it? When they say that, I know I found somebody who's like-minded and values the same things I value.
That's cool. Yeah, you just basically, in one phrase, found a little statement about what your definition of success is. So that's the term I like to use, definition of success.
So would that be a tribal signal, or is it more than just language?
I think it's absolutely a tribal signal, because when you find your talk repeating things like that, I like to say, you haven't developed your tribal signal until the people closest to you are rolling their eyes.
Yeah.
They're like, Daniel he's always saying that,
We do what's best, we know.
Yeah, I like to get to the place, especially with a team, to where you start the sentence and then everybody's going, through the process,
We have this belief about culture and developing culture, that culture is common beliefs, common language, and common activity, right? So if you're shared experience, shared language, and shared beliefs. So when you share those things in common with other people, and then all of a sudden we kind of get to step into this similar culture that we build together. And then when we do that, all of a sudden you've got your tribe. You find that there's a lot of people that are in your circle, but you find the people that are in your corner. The people that kind of have that.
That's a fantastic distinction, because there's a migration of, I like to call it, basically it's where it starts with logic, right? We'll have this conversation, we go, that makes perfect sense. But there's this transition, like the spectrum, where all of a sudden that logic actually is enacted. It actually becomes a part of our makeup. It becomes our reflex, not just our, oh yeah, I'm talking to Daniel.
Right.
I know how to speak their language.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it starts, though.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've experienced
Right,
that.
yeah.
So now they're in your, but they're not in your corner.
Right.
What was your first one?
You're in your circle.
They're in your circle,
Right.
not necessarily in your corner. And one of the mistakes that I've made over the, really over the last few years even, has been that I've identified people who like want to talk the talk but don't want to really take action.
Yeah.
And I've thought about them as imposters, as opposed to they're just not ready yet.
Right.
Or, they're not here yet.
Okay.
I'll keep them in my circle, but I'm also going to clearly know the distinction between the people who are taking action based on this philosophy, based on
Right.
this, what I call DOS, based on this definition of success, and the people who are just kind of like saying, I'm attracted to that, but I don't really know how it fits in my life,
Right.
or I'm resisting it, even if they don't understand the enemies
Yeah.
to their acceptance. And so I've had to really start allowing people, kind of
aren't there yet,
like my mom in her 80s,
right.
she says, I'm letting a lot more people in heaven these days. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of that deal,
Yeah, that's awesome. I now have a clear picture.
Little Irish woman, man. She's
So good.
I know we've already gotten like pretty deep into some stuff, but like, can you give us just like a rundown of who you are right now? Like what you do, what you spend your time on, and what you're building, and the things that you're doing right now.
Somebody reminded me just this week in a loving, caring, punch me in the mouth way that I don't need to spend so much time talking about where I've been and giving people as much context, although
It's important.
it's important.
Right.
I need to talk about where I'm going, who I really am, and the distinction there that you're asking is so intuitive, and I love it because we're all so burdened by where we've been, and we've got this identity that we're almost asking permission at times. Is it okay if I break free from that identity, or are you still holding me accountable to that identity? Usually it's us, right? And that's where I've gravitated to this, no head trash issue, which I'm not the only person who said that, but I found, just a month or so ago, I was in Denver, and I said to the Uber driver who barely spoke English, I said, hey, if I said head trash, would you know what I'm talking about? And he's like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I found this mind share, and I've accepted the identity that I am literally a delivery system for this for this mind share, right?
Right.
I believe, because I'm a Christian, I believe that this is a delivery system that God created me for. I had to decide after prison. Okay, I know we didn't get to that yet.
Yeah.
But I had to decide that my highest created purpose was still ahead of me,
Right.
Yeah.
not behind me. I didn't miss it. I may have lost things and that I thought were valuable and that other people in society measure, but what I didn't lose was my connection to my highest created purpose. So now you adopt all that and you're saying, what am I about today? Today, my mission is to be the delivery system, trying to help people, give people permission to break free from the literal head trash that's holding them back.
That's good.
And the funny part is, I find this at the simplest level, just the person who just literally cannot give themselves permission to take action over the smallest thing, all the way to the CEO level, Fortune 500 level guy who can't hear the head trash that he's speaking.
Yeah.
And so for me, I laugh because I'm the no head trash guy, right? Which means I have no head trash? No, that's just not the truth. It's not the truth.
Yeah.
But I need other people to help me identify the head trash.
Yeah.
And so that's where this whole tribal synergy comes in. It's like, what's part of our definition of success is we're going to help each other identify the, can I say crap on your show?
Yeah.
The crap that's holding us back. And it actually gets fun to do that. So, that's my total identity right now. That's where I'm going. I public speak that way. I write that way. I rant that way. And I just pray to God he'll use that as the delivery system for his message, not just me.
We're so glad you guys got to meet our really good friend, Greg Yates. We always have an awesome time chatting with that guy.
He's such a sharp guy. He's done so many things in business and learned so much the hard way. He's got an incredible work ethic, and we always learn something from him every time we see him. It's such an honor to know him and to be able to call him our friend. Come back next week. We're going to talk with him a little bit more.